Welcome everybody back to the shop. Today I'll be talking about cordless tools and battery maintenance. Here's a well-known fact that there's a lot of people, including myself, that we are changing from pneumatic tools to cordless tools. Main reason because cordless tools are getting a lot better. They're more convenient than you would find in a pneumatic tool because there's no air hose, no compressor. With you just need the tool, and if the battery's it's got a charge in it, then you're good to go. But it is important to know, like, battery maintenance, is key because obviously if the battery, if the battery is not good, is not healthy, the tool is going to underperform. So yeah, is like this is I made this video just a few tips on battery maintenance. Now, starting off, there's a lot of batteries out there in the market, where there's a 12 volt, 18, where there's a 2 amp, 6 amp, whatever, 5 amp, it doesn't matter. The main thing about the batteries, I mean, as you're going to be using the tool, they're going to create heat. Needless to say, if you're working like it's summer and then you're working in the hot weather, a good thing to do is keep, if you're on a break, keep the tool in the shade. Don't leave the tool in direct sunlight because already you'll be using the tool. There's a lot of heat created inside the battery. If you leave it on direct sunlight, it ain't gonna help, and it's gonna damage the battery in the long term. It's not gonna be able to perform as good as before. So yeah, just keep the batteries cooled down in hot weather. Just in the shade, something simple like that. You don't need to put it like in a fridge or something like that. Just away from direct sunlight. Another good thing to do, like I said, if you're overusing the tool, I mean, already, you know, within technology nowadays, tools have like an auto shut off mode if they overheat. Some batteries do that as well. But it's good to, like, every now and then, if you feel like you're overusing the tool, just take like I don't know, like a 2 to 5 minute break, yourself, like go for like a tea or coffee, so you can give the chance the battery to cool down a little bit. Same with the tool, so it will perform better in the long term. um, same, or I would say opposite thing with the hot weather. um, if it's like a winter like nowadays, some batteries, I mean, they do have like a, not a motherboard, but like a safety feature inside them. So they will not perform until like they reach a certain temperature. Like for instance, some batteries, they work up until like -10 degrees or whatever it's going to be, depending on what battery you're going to have. But yeah, it's good to keep the batteries a little bit, like, warm them up a little bit if it's, if you're working during cold weather. And then, simplest thing you can do that is, if you got your tools in your van or whatever, and then you're driving to the workplace, just put the heating on in your car just to warm up the batteries a little bit. I know it sounds a little bit funny, but the battery will perform better than just being like freezing cold. Another thing is, when you're storing the batteries, if you got like a small room, like a crew room or something like that, which is a little bit warmer in there, just keep the batteries in there rather like outside in the cold weather. It will prolong the lifespan of the battery, and obviously it will perform better when you, like, you need to switch up to another battery, and then you grab one from in there because it's going to be at room temperature. Another thing with the batteries, I mean, you're using the tools or whatever, ratchet, impact wrench, or whatever tool you're going to be using, they do create vibration, which that affects the health of the battery. I mean, it is something that you really can avoid. I mean, whatever tool you're going to be using, it creates vibration, depending on the task. But one thing to avoid with vibration is avoid dropping your tools. I mean, I did drop my torch a couple of times, as you can see here. Like, I mean, my battery's got like a few cracks. It's moving a little bit, but yeah, it's alright. It works, because I just feel like Milwaukee, they're good quality tools. But in general, just avoid dropping your tools. It does affect the battery, the health of the battery. So yeah, just if you keep constantly dropping them off, like because you're clumsy or something like that, uh, the lifespan of the battery will be reduced, and it will affect its performance. Probably the most common one is charging them. um, Charging the batteries, what I usually do is, as you can see here with my gun, it's fully charged, but usually when I see it drop below 2 bar, like 50% or so, I switch it up to another battery, brand new fully charged battery. um, or like, if I'm not in a hurry, I'll put that on charge, but I usually change to another fully charged battery. Main reason for that, if you keep using your tool, it's less than 50% life left in the battery, and you're using the tool and you're draining the battery completely. After you put it on charge, it will fully charge, no problem. It's just the performance of the battery, it will be affected in the long term. I'm not talking about doing it once, but if you keep constantly doing it, the battery, it will underperform in the long run, just because it won't hold the charge as it used to. So if it's like 50%, like 2 bar, it's okay, just change up to another battery, and then put that one to charge. I do sometimes, like not with my gun, but maybe with my torch. It's been a couple of times that like I left the battery go to like 2 or 1 bar, because I didn't realize it. It was a big job, and I didn't realize that it would drop to that low. But that's the torch. It doesn't draw as much amps as like gun would. With the impact wrench or whatever, like powerful tool, they got different settings. So if you're going to put it on full power, it will be drawing a lot of power from the battery. So yeah, like it's a good thing to keep an eye on your battery life on your tools. If it is like 50% or so, just put it on charge. Me, if it's three, I keep them 4 bar. If it's 3 bar, I'm kind of like okay. But if it's 2 bar, I just switch the batteries and then charge the other ones. Lastly, I want to be talking about is upgrading to bigger capacity batteries. With my torch, I'm using a 2 amp battery. Which ever since I got the torch, I was using 2 amp battery. But with my gun, one thing I did notice is, because this one is like an upgrade from my previous one, which was less powerful, about third, of the power of this one. But with that one, a 2 amp battery, will last me about half a week or so. Using it every now and then. But with this one, when I got this one, I didn't have a 6 amp battery in the beginning. I was using a 2 amp battery. But one thing I did find was, after like I was doing like I don't know, like a brake job or suspension job or whatever. Obviously using the tool to full power, it was draining the 2 amp battery quite fast. Mainly because it's got triple the power than my previous gun. So yeah, it's gonna need bigger capacity battery if you're going to be using it daily. With the torch, the torch is just a light. It doesn't draw too much power, so you can stick with a small battery package. But for instance, my Milwaukee gun, I just needed to switch up from a 2 amp to a 6 amp or 4 amp, but preferably I will go 6 amp, just for convenience reason. The tool is going to be able to perform better. The power is going to be more constant, rather than a smaller package battery. That's it's going to last a little bit, and then obviously if you're going to be using the tool all the time, the battery is going to drain a lot sooner. So you're just going to waste time switching batteries and then putting the battery to charge or whatever. So yeah, depending on the tool application, for the task, I would say if it's a torch or something like that, something simple, you can go with small capacity batteries. If it's like a gun that you're using all the time, I would say go for bigger, like 6 amp battery or whatever the market offers. Same thing with the ratchet. I got this ratchet. I don't have the previous ratchet, the older generation. But I do feel like with this one as well, I was using it like quite a bit, and you know, I did realize that the battery wouldn't hold up with the power of the tool, so it would like drain faster. So I'm guessing the previous tool, because it was, you know, it had less power than this, the battery would last longer. So yeah, that's why I'll be changing from a 2 amp battery on this to a 4 amp, because you know, I use this quite a bit, and then I'll have the same problem with this, that the battery will drain about 50%, and I'll change to another battery. So yeah, just for convenience reasons, and you know, the benefit of the tool as well, to get the maximum performance of the tool, I'll be switching up to a bigger capacity battery. Overall, that's the video, guys. You know, it's simple things, but the details do make a difference. And obviously, if you're going to be working in the industry in the long term, just high maintenance of your tools is important. It's going to save you money, but as well like time, and you know, overall it's going to be beneficial for you. I hope you liked the video. If there's any questions you have, leave them down, comment down below, and let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video.